What happens when forbidden love crosses religious boundaries? In a quiet neighborhood in Islamabad, Pakistan, a Christian wife's secret affair with her Muslim neighbor turned deadly. This isn't just a story. It's a chilling reality that shattered lives and shook the community to its core. Maria, a 28-year-old devoted Christian housewife, was known for her calm nature and unwavering commitment to her family in a quiet neighborhood in Islamabad. With a reputation for grace and nurturing, she dedicated her days to homemaking and community involvement, embodying the ideals of her faith. However, beneath this religious facade lay a hidden affair with her charming Muslim neighbor, Imran, a betrayal that conflicted deeply with her values. What began as an innocent friendship soon evolved into a passionate, secret relationship, filling her with excitement yet burdening her with guilt and anxiety. As she struggled to maintain her facade, the weight of her secret began to unravel her life, setting the stage for a tragedy that would shatter her family and community. David, a 32-year-old hardworking man, was the backbone of his family, dedicated to providing for their needs and ensuring a stable life in their quiet Islamabad neighborhood. Known for his reliability and commitment, he balanced long hours at work with his responsibilities at home, striving to create a loving environment for his wife, Maria, and their children. David took pride in being a devoted husband and father, often putting his family's needs above his own. However, unbeknownst to him, his wife's heart was drifting elsewhere, caught in a secret affair that would soon unravel their seemingly perfect life. His trust and love for Maria blinded him to the warning signs, creating a tragic irony as he remained oblivious to the emotional turmoil that lurked beneath their calm surface. As the weight of his wife's betrayal began to close in, David's world was set on a collision course with a devastating truth he could never have anticipated. Imran, a 30-year-old charismatic and friendly neighbor, was known for his easygoing nature and ability to connect with those around him. Living in the same Islamabad neighborhood as Maria and David, he quickly became a familiar presence, often engaging with the community and fostering friendships. His charm and magnetic personality drew people in, making him a beloved figure among neighbors. However, behind his affable exterior lay a darker side, as he found himself entangled in an illicit relationship with Maria. What began as innocent exchanges and casual conversations soon evolved into a passionate affair, igniting a dangerous liaison that defied social and religious boundaries. Imran's allure and confidence captivated Maria, leading her to make choices that would put them both at risk. As their relationship intensified, the thrill of secrecy became a heavy burden, ultimately spiraling into a tragedy that would leave a lasting impact on their lives and the community around them. In the heart of a seemingly idyllic neighborhood in Islamabad, Maria and David presented a picture of a normal family life that masked the turmoil hidden beneath the surface. Their home, filled with laughter and the sounds of children playing, was often the center of community gatherings, where David's warmth and Maria's nurturing spirit shone through. Together, they hosted barbecues and participated in local events, their smiles a testament to their devotion to family and faith. Maria expertly balanced her role as a homemaker, tending to household chores and caring for their children, while David worked diligently to provide for them, often returning home with stories of his day. However, beneath this facade of tranquility lay a dark secret: Maria's clandestine affair with Imran. The couple's nightly rituals, once filled with love and connection, slowly began to fracture as Maria struggled to maintain the illusion of normalcy. While David shared his dreams for their future and planned family outings, Maria became adept at hiding her guilt, her heart torn between the love for her husband and the passion she felt for Imran. The warmth of their home dimmed as Maria's emotional distance grew, yet David remained blissfully unaware, believing that their life together was as perfect as it appeared. This delicate balance between the mundane and the forbidden created a tension that was palpable, setting the stage for a confrontation that would shatter the lives they had built together. Maria and David resided in a quiet Christian community nestled in the serene landscapes of Islamabad, Pakistan. The neighborhood, characterized by its close-knit atmosphere, was filled with families who shared similar values and traditions, creating an environment that felt both safe and familiar. Their home, adorned with family photos and decorated for the seasons, reflected a sense of belonging and warmth. Neighbors often gathered for communal events, fostering friendships that span generations. From festive celebrations to Sunday services, life in this community seemed ordinary and peaceful, where everyone looked out for one another, creating an illusion of harmony. Yet, beneath this tranquil exterior, tension simmered just below the surface. The pressures of maintaining appearances weighed heavily on Maria as she juggled the demands of her marriage and her secret affair with Imran. While the community thrived on the values of faith and family, Maria found herself caught in a conflict that contradicted everything she had been taught to believe. The unspoken fears of discovery loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to expose the hidden turmoil within her heart. David, engrossed in his work and oblivious to the cracks in their marriage, remained a pillar of support, unaware of the emotional storm that was brewing just beneath their seemingly perfect life. The juxtaposition of their idyllic surroundings and the brewing chaos in Maria's life created a palpable tension that would soon unravel their world. Maria and Imran's affair began as an unexpected connection that defied the boundaries set by their respective religions and the social norms of their tight-knit community. Despite the weight of religious and cultural taboos that surrounded them, the chemistry between the two grew undeniable. What started as fleeting glances and casual conversations soon escalated into passionate encounters, held in secrecy away from prying eyes. They met in secluded spots, exchanging stolen moments filled with laughter, love, and an exhilarating sense of danger. The thrill of their forbidden romance offered an escape from their daily lives, allowing them to momentarily forget the consequences of their actions. However, the pressure of maintaining their hidden relationship began to take a heavy toll on both Maria and Imran. Each secret meeting became a double-edged sword, providing temporary joy but also fostering an underlying anxiety that gnawed at them. Maria found herself increasingly distracted and distant from David, struggling to juggle her roles as a devoted wife and a lover living in the shadows. The emotional strain weighed heavily on Imran as well, who felt the growing burden of a relationship that could shatter lives if exposed. As the reality of their situation set in, the couple grappled with their choices, realizing that the excitement of their affair came at the cost of their integrity and peace of mind. The pressure mounted, leading to sleepless nights filled with worry and guilt, as both grappled with the impending risk of their secret being unveiled. As Maria and Imran's affair deepened, the dynamics of her life began to shift dramatically. Once a devoted and attentive wife, Maria started to exhibit erratic behavior that raised subtle suspicions around her. The thrill of their secret meetings began to morph into a source of anxiety, leading her to withdraw emotionally from David and their children. Moments that used to be filled with laughter and connection turned into silent dinners and distracted conversations. David, oblivious to the turmoil within her, often attributed her distance to stress or fatigue, while Maria battled inner turmoil, torn between her obligations and her desires. With each passing day, the weight of her secret grew heavier, fueling a sense of paranoia that left her feeling on edge. Maria's heart raced at the thought of someone discovering the truth, causing her to second-guess her every move. She became anxious in social settings, hyper-aware of the prying eyes of neighbors and friends, fearing that a simple slip of the tongue could unravel her carefully constructed facade. As the emotional strain mounted, Maria's previously calm demeanor transformed into one of agitation and fear, eroding the once harmonious atmosphere of her home. This internal conflict set the stage for a precarious existence, as the pressures of maintaining her double life began to overshadow the love and stability she had once cherished with David. As Maria and Imran's affair continued, the signs of trouble became increasingly evident to those around them. Despite their best efforts to maintain a facade of normalcy, the frequency of Maria's meetings with Imran did not go unnoticed by the neighbors. Casual encounters that once seemed innocent began to raise eyebrows, and whispers circulated within the tight-knit community. The close proximity of their homes only heightened scrutiny, and neighbors exchanged concerned glances, trying to piece together the changes they observed in Maria's demeanor. Her late-night absences and unexplained excuses became fodder for speculation, creating a growing sense of unease in the community. The emotional toll of hiding their affair began to weigh heavily on both Maria and Imran. Each secret rendezvous turned into a balancing act, fraught with the fear of discovery. While they tried to act as though everything was fine, the strain of their deception loomed over them, turning their moments of passion into periods of anxiety. Maria found it increasingly difficult to navigate her dual existence. The pressure to keep up appearances with David and the children left her feeling exhausted and anxious. Imran, too, felt the mounting burden of their hidden relationship, grappling with the fear that their affair could not only ruin their lives but also bring shame to their families. As the signs of trouble grew more pronounced, both Maria and Imran knew that the fragile bubble they had created was on the brink of bursting, threatening to expose the dark secret that lay at the heart of their lives. The weight of the secret that Maria and Imran carried began to unravel her life in ways she could never have imagined. As the emotional strain intensified, Maria found herself caught in a relentless struggle to maintain her marriage while simultaneously feeding the dangerous relationship that had taken root in her heart. The conflicting demands of her roles as a devoted wife and a secret lover became increasingly difficult to balance. Each day, Maria donned a mask of normalcy, presenting a cheerful facade to David and their children while concealing the turmoil brewing beneath the surface. Despite her efforts, the cracks in her carefully constructed life began to widen. The guilt of her betrayal gnawed at her conscience, leading to sleepless nights and moments of deep introspection. Maria's internal conflict manifested in mood swings, leaving her feeling irritable and emotionally drained. Her interactions with David became strained. Even the simplest conversations turned into battlegrounds of resentment and distance. The more she tried to suppress her feelings for Imran, the more she realized how deeply entangled she had become in their affair. It was a toxic cycle that fed on her fears and desires, leaving her feeling trapped and increasingly isolated. As the reality of her situation dawned on her, Maria recognized that maintaining the facade of a perfect marriage was becoming an impossible task, and the impending collapse of her dual life loomed ever closer. One fateful night in March 2023, the unthinkable shattered the tranquility of the neighborhood. Imran was found brutally murdered in his own home. The news spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community that had long been unaware of the dark undercurrents of his life. Initially, authorities suspected a home invasion, as signs of a struggle were evident throughout the living room. Furniture lay overturned, and the door had been forced open, suggesting a violent confrontation had taken place. However, as investigators delved deeper into the scene, they uncovered chilling details that painted a much darker picture. The initial investigation revealed a series of texts and evidence that pointed towards a betrayal steeped in jealousy. Friends and family who knew Imran described him as charismatic, but warned of a temper that could flare in moments of passion. As detectives pieced together the timeline of events leading up to that tragic night, whispers of an affair and the potential for love gone wrong began to emerge. Bloodstains found in the living room, alongside items hastily discarded during the altercation, hinted at a personal conflict rather than a mere robbery. As the investigation progressed, the community began to realize that this was not just a crime of opportunity, but rather the devastating result of a love triangle gone awry, exposing the dangerous implications of the secret relationship between Maria and Imran. The horrific murder set the stage for a complex web of deceit, betrayal, and tragedy that would soon unfold. Imran's body was discovered in the dimly lit living room of his home, a chilling testament to the violent confrontation that had unfolded just hours before. The room, once a sanctuary of warmth and laughter, now bore the scars of chaos and brutality. Furniture was scattered across the floor, and a broken lamp lay shattered nearby, its remnants reflecting the violent struggle that had taken place. As the first responders arrived, they were struck by the horrific scene that greeted them, with Imran lying motionless, evidence of the ferocity of the attack evident in the bloodstains that painted the walls. Initially, police suspected that the murder was the result of a robbery gone wrong, given the signs of forced entry and the disarray in the room. However, as investigators began to sift through the evidence, a much darker truth emerged. They uncovered hidden details, bloodied footprints leading to a nearby door, and personal items that suggested a targeted attack rather than a random act of violence. The initial theory quickly unraveled as detectives discovered Imran's phone, which contained messages that hinted at a complicated love life. As they dug deeper into his relationships, the threads of betrayal and jealousy began to weave a tangled narrative, leading them to suspect that someone close to him may have been involved. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that this was not just a crime of opportunity. It was a tragic culmination of hidden desires and unresolved conflicts, drawing the investigators closer to the dark reality of Maria and Imran's affair. Islamabad's police department swiftly launched an extensive investigation into the suspicious murder of Imran, determined to uncover the truth behind the chilling crime that had shaken the community. Detectives combed through the crime scene, meticulously gathering evidence and piecing together a timeline of events leading up to that fateful night. As they began to interview neighbors and friends, it became apparent that Imran's charismatic personality and seemingly innocent interactions masked a much darker reality. Whispers of his relationship with Maria soon surfaced, prompting detectives to delve deeper into the implications of their affair. The investigation revealed a shocking web of deceit and betrayal. Detectives uncovered a series of text messages exchanged between Maria and Imran, which detailed their clandestine meetings and emotional struggles. These messages painted a picture of a passionate, yet tumultuous relationship fraught with jealousy and conflict. Further evidence, including witness testimonies, indicated that Maria had been seen leaving Imran's house on several occasions shortly before his death, raising significant suspicions about her involvement. The detectives' findings pointed towards the affair as a key motive, suggesting that the pressure of their secret life and the fear of discovery may have driven someone to violence. As the pieces began to fall into place, the investigators realized they were not merely solving a murder, but unearthing the devastating consequences of forbidden love and the lengths to which individuals might go to protect their secrets. As the investigation progressed, forensic experts played a crucial role in uncovering the truth behind Imran's murder. Investigators meticulously analyzed the crime scene, where bloodstains and signs of a struggle painted a vivid picture of the violent confrontation that had occurred. The sheer brutality of the scene indicated that this was no random act of violence. It was personal, stemming from deep-seated emotions and unresolved conflicts. Each drop of blood, each piece of displaced furniture, hinted at the intensity of the struggle, suggesting that Imran had fought valiantly for his life against an assailant who was both familiar and dangerous. Amidst the forensic examination, a breakthrough came when detectives uncovered hidden text messages on Imran's phone. These messages between him and Maria not only detailed their affair, but also revealed the emotional turmoil they faced. Discussions of jealousy, fear of discovery, and the strain of living a double life emerged from the exchanges, shedding light on the volatile nature of their relationship. The messages suggested that their once passionate love had begun to sour, potentially giving rise to a motive for murder. This discovery transformed the investigation, shifting the focus towards Maria and painting a clearer picture of the emotional landscape that preceded the tragedy. As forensic evidence continued to mount, it became increasingly evident that the tangled web of love, betrayal, and fear had ultimately led to a deadly confrontation that claimed Imran's life. During the police interviews, Maria initially maintained a calm demeanor, attempting to project an image of innocence and denial. However, as detectives probed deeper into her alibi, inconsistencies in her story began to surface. Her account of her whereabouts on the night of Imran's murder shifted under scrutiny, raising red flags for investigators who had already begun to suspect her involvement in the affair. Meanwhile, neighbors offered key witness testimonies that corroborated the detectives' suspicions. Several reported seeing Maria and Imran together on numerous occasions, often late at night, and noted her increasingly erratic behavior. This provided crucial context to the investigation, revealing that the couple's secret meetings had not gone unnoticed. As the testimonies piled up, the motive of jealousy and the mounting pressure of maintaining their illicit relationship became clear. Maria's attempts to shield her affair from her husband, coupled with the fear of exposure, created a perfect storm of emotional turmoil, setting the stage for the tragic events that followed. The courtroom was charged with emotion as testimonies unfolded, each voice contributing to a haunting narrative of betrayal and deceit. Family members took the stand, visibly shaken as they recounted the devastating impact of Imran's murder on their lives. They spoke of the shock and disbelief that had engulfed them, particularly in light of the revelation that Maria, whom they had trusted, was entangled in such a dangerous liaison. Their tearful accounts painted a vivid picture of a family shattered by the horrific events, deepening the sense of tragedy that permeated the room. Neighbors, too, shared their observations, detailing how Maria had transformed from a devoted wife to someone consumed by secrets and anxiety. Their testimonies highlighted the stark contrast between the facade of normalcy she had maintained and the chaos brewing beneath the surface. Detectives recounted the investigation's progression, emphasizing the shocking details of the affair that emerged, illustrating how love and desire spiraled into a deadly confrontation. The emotional weight of these revelations gripped the courtroom, leaving the audience in a state of disbelief as they absorbed the profound implications of Maria's actions and the catastrophic consequences that followed. The atmosphere was thick with tension as the reality of the affair unfolded, uncovering the tragic intersection of passion and violence that had irrevocably altered the lives of all involved. The courtroom drama intensified as the defense and prosecution presented their contrasting narratives, each trying to sway the jury's perception of Maria's involvement in Imran's murder. The defense team attempted to paint Maria as a victim, arguing that she had been manipulated by Imran, who they claimed had taken advantage of her vulnerabilities. They emphasized her calm demeanor during interviews and her initial reluctance to engage in the affair, suggesting that she had been coerced into a situation spiraling out of her control. Their strategy aimed to evoke sympathy from the jury, framing her as someone caught in a web of deceit spun by a charming but dangerous man. In stark contrast, the prosecution built a compelling case that portrayed Maria as a willing participant in the affair, driven by desire and jealousy. They highlighted the evidence of her secret meetings with Imran and the emotional turmoil reflected in the text messages exchanged between them. As they detailed the events leading up to the murder, they argued that Maria's escalating anxiety and fear of exposure led her to a point of no return, where violence became a viable option in her desperate attempt to regain control. The courtroom was kept on edge as both sides presented their arguments, each revelation heightening the tension and leaving the audience captivated by the unfolding drama. The stakes were high, and as the jury listened intently, the air was thick with anticipation regarding the eventual verdict. The courtroom fell silent as the jury returned with their verdict, the weight of their decision palpable in the air. Maria was found guilty of Imran's murder, a conclusion that sent shockwaves through the room. Her family, who had sat in stunned disbelief throughout the trial, were left reeling by the revelation of her affair and the violent crime that had ensued. They had entered the proceedings believing in her innocence, unaware of the secrets she had harbored and the betrayal that had unfolded right under their noses. As the verdict was read, a mixture of emotions washed over Maria's family: shock, anger, and heartbreak. They struggled to comprehend how the woman they thought they knew could be implicated in such a heinous act. The courtroom buzzed with whispers and gasps as the reality of the situation sank in, emphasizing the tragedy that had unfolded. The impact of the affair, now laid bare before everyone, altered the lives of those involved forever. As the gavel came down, sealing Maria's fate, the ramifications of her actions rippled far beyond the confines of the courtroom, leaving a community grappling with the consequences of betrayal and loss. In 2024, Maria was sentenced to life imprisonment for her role in the murder of Imran, a decision that reverberated throughout the community. The courtroom atmosphere was thick with emotion as the judge delivered the sentence, marking the end of a harrowing chapter but the beginning of a profound communal reckoning. Both the Christian and Muslim communities in Islamabad were left deeply shaken by the events that had unfolded, grappling with the reality that a seemingly ordinary life could spiral into such tragedy. The case transcended religious and social boundaries, igniting discussions about love, betrayal, and the cultural taboos that had contributed to the affair. For many, it served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of forbidden relationships, especially in a society where religious divides often dictate personal interactions. As Maria was led away, the weight of her actions hung heavily in the air, leaving families and friends to ponder the loss of life and the shattering of trust that accompanied her choices. The verdict underscored the complex interplay of love, faith, and morality, prompting reflections that would resonate within the community for years to come. David stood at the center of his shattered world, grappling with the devastating aftermath of his wife Maria's betrayal and the murder of their neighbor, Imran. The weight of the revelations crushed him. The woman he had devoted his life to had been living a double life, and the shock of her actions was almost too much to bear. As he tried to process the reality of the situation, David found himself grappling with feelings of anger, confusion, and profound sadness. The trust he had in Maria was irrevocably broken, leaving him questioning not just their marriage, but also his own judgment and understanding of love. In the months that followed, David struggled to pick up the pieces of his broken family. Each day was a battle as he faced the reality of his new life without Maria. He became a single father to their children, who were left to navigate their own confusion and pain amidst the chaos. The scars left by the affair and its deadly consequences ran deep, affecting not only David but also the children who had lost their mother to prison. Family gatherings turned into reminders of the void Maria left behind, and every glance from friends and neighbors was tinged with pity and judgment. As the community continued to process the tragedy, David sought solace in his children, determined to shield them from the fallout of their mother's actions. But the burden of betrayal loomed large, a shadow that would follow them all for a lifetime. The case sent shockwaves through Islamabad's tight-knit community, unraveling the fabric of trust that had once bound neighbors together. What had begun as a seemingly ordinary relationship took a dark turn, exposing the hidden complexities of love, desire, and betrayal. The details of Maria's affair with Imran, a relationship that crossed not only personal boundaries but also religious lines, became a chilling reminder of the potential consequences of forbidden love. As word spread, the story quickly morphed into a cautionary tale, serving as a stark warning about the perils of secrecy and the moral dilemmas that often accompany such entanglements. Community discussions were rife with speculation and concern, as residents grappled with how someone they thought they knew could engage in such a devastating betrayal. The affair and its tragic end highlighted the fragile nature of relationships, particularly in a society where cultural and religious norms often dictate personal interactions. In the months that followed, families found themselves reevaluating their own relationships, often engaging in difficult conversations about trust and fidelity, and the community as a whole was left to ponder the scars left behind by a tragedy that would linger in their collective memory for years to come. This story serves as a stark reminder that deceit and betrayal can lead to unimaginable tragedy. The heart-wrenching narrative of Maria and Imran encapsulates the complexities of human emotions, illustrating how love can sometimes morph into something dark and destructive. The consequences of their actions ripple far beyond their own lives, affecting families and communities alike. It underscores the fragile nature of trust, how easily it can be shattered, and how devastating the aftermath can be when honesty is compromised. Love, trust, and honesty are the foundation of any relationship, and without them, lives can be destroyed in an instant. The affair that began as a secret liaison turned into a deadly confrontation, demonstrating how the weight of hidden truths can eventually come crashing down. This cautionary tale reminds us all of the importance of open communication and fidelity in our relationships. In a world where love is often complicated by external pressures and personal desires, it is crucial to prioritize transparency and integrity to prevent such tragedies from occurring again. The loss and heartbreak experienced by everyone involved stand as a testament to the catastrophic effects of betrayal, urging us to cherish and uphold the bonds we share with those we love. We invite you to share your thoughts on this haunting case. What do you think about the events that unfolded between Maria and Imran? Do you believe justice was served with the verdict? Join the conversation and discuss how this tragedy has impacted not only the families directly involved, but also the wider community in Islamabad. Your insights are invaluable, and we want to hear how you feel about the complexities of love, betrayal, and the consequences of secret affairs. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more true crime narratives that explore the depths of human emotion and the darker side of relationships. Your engagement helps us shed light on these important topics and encourages dialogue around the real-life implications of such stories. Let's come together to reflect on the lessons learned and the importance of trust and honesty in our own lives.